All right, so now we need to, figure out where our path is going, right? Let's go ahead and, sorry, let me just pull up a preview here. All right, so here's kind of what we want to go for. It's not going to look exactly like this. This is a little extra pretty and drawn up, but it gives us a good idea of like what we can do, right? So we're going to want to kind of, have a couple curves and, something fun for the enemies to walk on with plenty of, space for us to place towers and take these guys out as they walk past, right? So, the more bends and turns, the more places we can place towers, this game will be a lot of fun, right? So the goal, so our enemies are going to start marching from, over here. And we're going to have them march through here, past the castle, and then off the top to the end. And that's where, if they make it there, that's where we get, money deducted or points deducted, however we decide to, continue on the game. I believe the more enemies we take out, the more money we get. And that allows us to build more towers. But if, a certain percentage of enemies get past us, game over. All right, so we have an idea of what we're building. Let's go ahead and start working on that. All right, so let's see. I want to say probably right about here would probably be a good spot to start making our path, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and Command Delete, and then over here. Yeah, Command Delete. And that is where we're going to end. All right, so let's go ahead and just... This is time consuming, but at the same time, you want to make sure your maps are laid out exactly how you want them for ultimate gameplay. There are ways you can automate this. Like we could make an array and automate the tiles to go down, but I kind of like having the control of forming your levels exactly how you want them. It makes things a lot more fun, and that way you can kind of craft things to be more difficult. I mean, I guess it just ends up being up to you guys. This is the way we're going to do it right now, and we can always show you different ways in the future. I mean, I'm kind of just remembering how that goes. I mean, we're not putting quite as many roads in, but I'm just, making it fun. Like a lot of turns. It'll make path finding a little more interesting when we do that. Because we have to kind of have AI for our enemies so they know where they're marching and all that cool stuff. So, all right. So we deleted the path where we want to place our path sprites. Let's go ahead and right-click map. Right-click map and hit create empty. And let's go ahead and call this one path. All right, now over here, if you click on ground tiles, you see that we have our grass tile. We already used that. And you'll see your other tiles. If you click on them, you can see them bigger on the lower right corner. And if you can't quite see them that big, you can just click and drag them larger. So first, if we start on the left side, we just need a straight horizontal tile. So let's go ahead and, all right, we're gonna roughly place this because we can't really snap it to place yet until it's placed. So what we're going to do is we'll roughly place everything, and then I'll show you how to snap them all to place all at once, so we're not wasting too much time doing that. So let's just go ahead and just keep dragging these. Another horizontal. And like I said, you don't have to be perfect. Like if you see spaces like that, we will fix that. All right. And then the turns, just make sure you grab the right one. And that's why the preview is nice. So you know exactly which ones you need. And now we just needed some verticals. And the reason we made a ground object and now a path object, and we'll be dragging all of our paths into this once we're done. It makes it a lot easier to put tags on it and also what layer they sit on. So, and we'll be getting into all that later. And you can also, so there's two layers. There's a sorting layer, which is like, you know, where it is, like, you know, if it's behind something or in front of something, that's the sorting layer. And then there's also layers like if two objects are on the same layer, you can have them like collide and know that they will collide. And that is, so over here on the top with this sprite selected, see this layer here? You can say, oh, there are some built-in ones, but like if everything was like here, we can make one right now. So you can add extra layers. There's some built-in ones. Default's normally okay for most things. But let's go ahead and do a collision layer since we're here right now. And we can get into this. We don't, yeah, we can write a layer. We'll get into this later, but basically we're going to add everything like our enemies, and like the arrows that hit them. And then we're going to be using empty objects for doing the pathfinding. We would make sure all these objects are on the same layer, and it's easy. So it's the collision layer. We're keeping track of collisions there. And yeah, we'll get more into it later. Got a little sidetracked there, but let's get back to building our map. All right, so let's see. We need another vertical tile. All right, we're getting there, guys. I know this is time consuming, but all this work is worth it, and it's going to be really cool. I know it's kind of looking junky, but we will fix that. All those spaces will be gone, I promise. Just want to get everything roughly laid out. All right, guys, one more tile. This is exciting. Cool. All right, so now we need to highlight all of these, right? All right, so select either the last one or the top one, and then hold shift and click on the opposite side. And we only have our ground, our path pieces selected right now. And then go up into your edit menu, snap settings, and then snap to X. Look at that. Beautiful. Straight off the bat, everything's lined up. It's perfect. Now with them still highlighted, let's go ahead and just drag them into the path object. And we can shrink that out of the way. So we pretty much have, you know, our world or our map done right now. But now is the fun stuff, right? We add the little extras that make it look cool. And yeah, so let's do that. Let's add just, you know, some scenery, some trees, some rocks, you know, and guys, feel free. You don't have to copy me. This isn't part of the game anymore. So be as creative as you want. You have a lot of cool assets here. Try to avoid using, you know, let's see here. The villager house is okay. Basically, the tribal and villager house, you know, feel free to use, but avoid using the archer tower, the castle tower, and the night post, because we're going to be using those in our game for defending our route here, okay? So that is that. Let's go ahead and just start placing some trees. So under extras, you have 3 different kinds of trees, right? Let's just start throwing them in there. Oh, we have to actually adjust these right now. So I don't remember what pixel size I used before, but let's go ahead and just drag one in. And if you like the size of these trees, you can keep them. There's no big, it's really not a problem, whatever you want. But the same way, if you go into the sprite and you click on it, you see these pixels per unit. And you can change that. Let's just try 200 and hit apply. That's probably a little better. So let's do 200 pixels for everything. Just because, I mean, look at the size of our path and all of that. So let's go ahead and just select all of these. And pixels per unit is 200. And hit apply. Now all of these have been adjusted and they'll all be approximately the same size. Very cool. All right, so one thing about when we're placing trees, you kind of want to think about the background, which ones are going in front of where. So we want to kind of place the back layer of trees first. So I'm going to start my row about here, okay? And don't accidentally click on the ground. It opens the whole ground object up. So go ahead and just drag, you know, different trees here. Don't have these really overlap, and I'll show you why. We'll have the next row overlap. Just kind of place these wherever you want. And then once you have a couple, just going to throw in one like that. Once you have like a couple, you can do our copy and paste again. So copy and paste, and then just drag these like that. And copy and paste. And obviously you don't want them to be, you know, a straight line, so feel free to move them. It's always easier, you can't really click on these, to just find them in the hierarchy here. So if you want to move one, once it's selected, then grab the arrow and you can move it. All right, cool. So now I'm going to just select another handful, copy and paste, and drag those over here. All right, cool. I'm going to take these last three just because they're way off the map, just highlight them, and whoop, those aren't the three I want to select though. Okay, these three. And just whoop. Helps to hold shift, not caps lock. All right, so let's just drag those over. See what so this is why I didn't want them overlapping yet. We're gonna actually adjust what layer these are on, and it just kind of can look like junk. I'm gonna move this guy up. All right, so that layer of trees is done. It looks pretty cool. All right, so all these trees we just laid down, let's go ahead and select them all. And then over here on the right side, do you see this order in layer? Let's just go ahead and make this a -1. All right, and see how they disappeared? It's actually because they're all on the same sorting layer as the ground, which is default. And so let's go ahead and just add a sorting layer and click the plus sign here. Anything you add will be above the default layer, and ground on default is fine. So let's just go ahead and call these, I don't know, extra or items, maybe like items on our map. All right, and now let's select all these trees again and change the sorting layer to items, and they are back. And so also set the order in layer to -1, or I mean, it can be 0, and then the next layer of trees that we add to items, let's actually keep that 0, and the next layer will have 1, and it'll be above these. So let's go ahead and right click map. Don't double click. All right, right click, create empty, and let's call this trees. And let's go ahead and select these and drag them into that empty object. All right, cool. So that layer is done. And what we'll do is once we have this one done, we'll be able to kind of copy this whole object and move it up here as well. So that'll be really cool. We can reuse all of our hard work. All right, so let's go ahead and now create more trees. Not create, add. So go ahead and start. All right, so this first tree, I'm going to go ahead and drag out, you know, the different ones we have here. All right, our first 3 trees. Select these 3 and let's add them to the items sorting layer right away. And now make order in layer 1. And what this will do is make sure it stays in front of the previous trees that we just added. So if I highlight these, this little hand will move around the map. And then if you select these 4 arrows, then you can move them. See that now they're above this, so we can overlap this layer of trees, which is gonna be cool. Now we can make our little forest. All right, so go ahead and select, copy, and paste. And now all these that you copy off that will be in the same sorting layer and the same order in the layer, so they'll all be 1. All right, cool. So now we have our little forest, and let's go ahead and select all these trees and add them to the tree object. All right. Let's go ahead and double click on the text here, and let's name this tree 1, and then we're going to right click and hit duplicate, and we will call this tree 2. And with tree 2 selected, go ahead and drag this guy up here. And obviously we don't want trees in our path. That's not cool. So kind of, put this wherever you want it. I'm going to pan up a little. And then select trees. And I'm going to just scoot these upwards. And I'm just going to open up this now and find which trees are on the edge there. And okay, so that one's there. So Command delete or delete on a Windows. And whichever ones you kind of just see them highlight. And this is the easiest way to find them. Let's delete that one since it's off the map. I think there. Okay, we'll delete that one. It's too close to the road. Delete that one. It's off the map. Oh, that one's fine. And we'll delete that one since it's off the map as well. All right, cool. So now we have our, 2 forests on either side. And now we can just, now we need to, let's put building tiles down. This is where we're actually going to be, excuse me. This is where we're going to be allowing the player to place his defense towers. And so this is kind of where, strategy and all the game planning would come into play as well. For now, we're just going to put them in, roughly place them. And as we start playing, if adjustments need to be made, we'll make those adjustments. So let's go ahead and right click map and hit another empty object. And let's just call these build sites. Let's go to your ground tiles and the build ground with the little patch of dirt. Those are what we want to use. So let's go ahead and delete ground tiles. So with that selected, let's delete this one. Let's delete that one. And here. And like I said, we might be changing these. I don't know how well these will work yet, or if it makes the game too easy having this many, but those are things we'll find out. So let's go ahead and shrink this down, that object, and let's drag a build ground, and let's just place these, roughly, right? And we'll do the snap setting in a minute. So go ahead and get all those dragged into the empty spots. And having all these separated in objects makes it nice when we start adding tags and everything. And tags are kind of just how you keep track of what the object is. Like if you have a collider set up or any of those things, it's nice to know. All right, so we placed all those tiles. So let's go ahead and select the top one, hold shift, click the bottom one, and go ahead and go to Edit, Snap Settings, and snap all axes. All right. Those are in place. With them still highlighted, let's drag them into our build sites empty object. And there we go. This is starting to look pretty cool, guys. We have a pretty sweet map. Oh, you can scroll in and out for zooming, depending on the mouse you have. And now, like, so if you played it right now, it wouldn't do anything. It would just see the game view down here. It would just sit there. If you press play, see, now we're running. But it's pretty cool. You have, you know, a game map. Let's go ahead and keep adding some final touches to this. Let's see. Let's make another empty object. Right click, create empty. And we'll call this items, I guess. No, we named something item. Extras. How about extras? Now we'll go into our sprites folder and go to extras, and you can just drag things around and make this look cool. I kind of like that maybe in this empty area we could put some stumps. You know, some trees got cut down. Someone needed to build a cabin or something. And then, you know, if you're cutting trees down, you probably have logs. Let's put a log pile here. Let's go ahead and go into our towers folder. And let's place, you know, maybe a tribal hut here. They were cutting trees down. All right, and let's see. The tribal hut has a water well. Cool. All right, let's see. What else should we do to make this cool looking? Oh, we have to place our castle. What's a game without a castle? All right, so this castle is really big. We have not adjusted any of the pixels, and obviously you see the trees are in front of it. Let's go ahead and just try 200 pixels. Yeah, that's probably good. Let's drag that down. All right, so we need this in front of the trees, right? So let's go ahead and select this object, and sorting layer, we're going to add it to items. And then order in layer, we need it above 1 because those trees are 1. So let's make it 2. And there we go. Now it's in front of the trees. It's looking cool. Look at that castle. All right, cool, cool, cool. All right. Oh, let's highlight all of our towers over here and make them all 200 pixels. So they're all equivalent sizes. And I mean, if you want, I mean, don't leave it here, but drag one out and you can kind of see how our towers will look. It'll be pretty cool. So command backspace or delete on a Windows to delete that item when it's selected. And let's just go ahead and, I don't know, I think we need a graveyard in here. So let's go to extras. We have a tombstone right here. Go ahead and copy and paste. All right, we can't see these. So we need to put a sorting layer, put it on items, and probably put it on 2. And there we go. Okay, and I'm just copying and pasting, just, you know. All right, cool. I keep forgetting. If you click on the map, it opens everything up, and it's annoying. All right, so we're getting there. This is starting to look like a pretty cool map. I think we need some like spikes. We got to protect our road, maybe. Now the white line is the edge of the game. If you see down below, right here, this is the game view. you'll actually see that the white line. So we don't see anything after that. So you don't want to place things outside of that. Well, you can, but you won't see it. All right, so copy and paste. I think we just need this on, you know, both sides here. You know, we got to scare off the enemies. And I keep forgetting and clicking on the ground, and that's opening it up. Copy and paste, and we need this on both sides of the castle because the castle means business. All right, cool. And we probably should have them on this side of the road because you don't know what side you could be attacked from. Okay, so let's go ahead and select all these extras that we have right now. And just to make sure, let's put them on the item sorting layer and object 2 for now. And we might have to adjust these depending, like if they were overlapping or anything, we'd have to make the two different, obviously. But we don't have anything overlapping as of now. So go ahead, highlight all these, drag them into extras. All right, now this is cleaned up a little. You're more than welcome to, you know, add things. Let's add some rocks, actually. Whoops. Don't double click the rocks, just add the rocks. Drag them into the scene. I don't know, we need a big rock here. That looks kind of cool. Maybe a big rock over here. A smaller rock. Just decorate with rocks. Cannot go wrong with decorating with rocks. All right, cool. And then let's add some sand in front of the hut. Like people come in and out a lot. Grass wouldn't be growing there. Let's add some tall grass randomly. Designing levels can kind of be fun. You get to see what you've done right away. Let's put some fences next to these towers. You got to remember towers are probably going to be built there, so don't put anything on the build tiles. But next to is okay, and I feel like, you know, towers would have fences. All right, and you know, pile of logs here. Maybe some cut down trees and stumps. And this stuff doesn't matter for the gameplay, so you don't have to watch me really carefully to make sure you're getting everything in the same spot. It's just to make our level look really cool. All right, let's go ahead and select all these that we've just added and make sure they're on the items sorting layer. And go ahead and put a 2 here. And then let's drag them into our extras object and close that up. And I think this is good. Let's save it here, and I think we'll end this section here, and then we'll come back in and I'll teach you how to add enemies, and we'll start animating those, and it'll be really cool. You'll see some things moving on the screen, and it'll be exciting. All right.